I'll rather record and then upload later. Okay, so we stopped at variable in our last class. And I did a little bit of data types, right? Now, I'm going to continue with data types. So, but instead of me to continue on data types, I'm going to create each file to explain the concept of data types for us. So basically, data types is the type of data that your variable can hold. Data type is the type of data that your variable can hold. So what that means basically is that your variable, there are different types of, there are different kinds of way in which you can represent your data. And in programming, data type is an important concept that you must understand before you can proceed. It's more or less like when you want to sew a cloth or you want to buy a cloth. You need to have an understanding of your measurements before they can sew the cloth that will befit you to your standard or to your taste for you. So basically, as I said, variables can store data of different types, and different data types can do different things. So Python has about 9 different data type categories, or 8. And I'm going to explain some of them to you, especially the most important one. I'm going to spend a lot of time to explain the data type to you so that you can have an understanding of what we are trying to do. So if you look at this, I'm going to come here. I'm going to create a new file, right? Inside here, I'm going to create a new file. So I'm going to say new. I'm going to say new Python file. I'm going to say data types. Right. So now it opens. So there are, as I said, there are different types of data that variable can open. And Python has built-in, these built-in data types. You need to first understand them. As we move along, we are going to talk about how to build our own data types when we go through object-oriented programming. So there's what you call text type, right? This text type accommodates string. I'm going to explain that. There's what we call numeric type. Right? This numeric type accommodates int or integer, float, let me write it in lowercase, int, float, I will explain each and every one of them, and complex. Then we have what we call sequence types. This sequence type accommodates what you call list, tuple, and range. I think I explained range to us last week. And then we have what you call mapping type, right? And this mapping type accommodates what you call dictionary, right? You need to have a very good understanding of dictionary, especially if you want to graduate. You need to have a very good understanding of list, tuple, and dictionary, especially if you are going to move into machine learning, right? There's what we call set type, right? So this has set and frozen set. Right. We have what we call Boolean type. These take what we call bool. And we have what we call binary types. These take what we call bytes, byte array, memory view, and finally, we have what we call non-type, which basically take non-type. Right. Now, so if you come here, let's say we have, oops. Let's just say we want to talk about string. A string is anything that you put, a string is anything, right? A string is anything that you put in. So a string is anything that you put in quotes, whether single quote or double quote. Both quotes do the same thing. You can either use single quote or double quote. You cannot mix them together. So let me give you an example of a string. Let me give you an example of a string. So if I say string data type. So if I say name equal, as you can see, I can say Olalekan Samuel. That is string data type, right? Now, but before we go, I need to quickly clarify something to you, although we are still going to cover it inside operators. But it is important to learn about this thing now. You hear me say, I say string, name, for instance, equal, right? Olalekan Samuel. In the real sense, right? This is not equal. This is not equal to that you might want to call it. This is an assignment operator. We are still going to do it, but please, it's important for me to clear that thing now. This equal sign in programming, in 99.95% of programming language, is what we call assignment operator. What we use this operator for is that we use it to assign value to variables. We use it to assign values to variables. Now, if we look at this, this is equal operator, double equals, is what we call equal operator, right? Please take note. And this is a comparison operator. It is a comparison operator. What do we use it for? We use it to compare two variables. We use it to perform comparison. That's what we use that for. Please take note. Okay, so let's go back to where we were from. So if I say name equal Olalekan Samuel, you could see that that Olalekan Samuel is inside quotes. I can also say, let's assume, I can also say first name. First name is variable, right? So I can also say first name, right, equal Olalekan, right? but I want to use a single equal. So I can say Olalekan, but I cannot say last name equal this to say Samuel and then this. I cannot mix them together. If I want to use single quote, I stick with single quote. If I want to use double quote, I stick with double quote. Are you with me? So that is very, very important to note. The reason why I'm getting that error is because I mix the quote together. Right. It's because I mix the quote together. So, which is wrong. So it's either I say this, everything will be fine. Right? So anything that you... Sorry about that, guys. They brought the electricity back, and then when they do that, it short circuits everything in the house because of the inverter that I'm using. So, pardon me. Okay, so as you can see, right, as I was saying before, I said that a string data type is anything that is inside quotes, whether double quotes or single quotes. Right, that's a string data type. Numeric data type. Numeric data type A numeric data type is a data type that is a whole number. A data type that is whole number. That's a numeric data type. For instance, if I say x equal 20, that's a numeric data type. If I say x equal 20, it's a numeric data type. Also, we have float. Under a numeric, we have what we call float, right? We have what we call float data types. So under float data types, right, we have what we call decimal point number. Decimal point number. So if I say y equal 24.5, you know, that's a decimal data type, right? So that is a float data type. That is a float data type, right? That is a float data type. Now, we have what we call complex number. We have what we call complex number, which is this, which is what I was showing earlier under the numeric complex. So a complex number are written with a j at the end, with j as the imaginary type, j as an imaginary part. For instance, if I say z equal, look at this, if I say z equal 3, right, plus 6j, right, that's an example of complex data type, right? That is an example of complex data type. That's an example of complex data type, right? So in Python, right, we also have, I'm going to focus on the most important data type that you need for now. which are these 3 or 4, right? So in Python, we also have lists, a list data type. So let me create a new variable here, right? I mean, a new file here. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to say Python file, and I'm going to say list tuple dictionary. That's more important to understand than any other thing, right? So let's look at list, right? If you say a list data type is actually a data type that can take any data types but in sequence. That's why here we call it, that's why we call it sequence here. That's why we call it sequence, right? A list data type is any data type that can, is data type that can take any data type as a sequence. Let me give you an example of a list. So if I say my list equal, remember this, we said any data type that it can take inside as a sequence. And those data types, those sequences are enclosed in square brackets. They are enclosed in square brackets like this. And they are separated by commas. They are enclosed in a square bracket and they are separated by commas, right? They are enclosed in square bracket and they are separated in commas. For example, if I say 24, 45, I'm just giving a random number. I say Christiana, I say Kayode, I say Uluwabumi, right? I say Ademola. Now, here's a good thing about list. You can even enclose another list, right? You can even enclose another list inside. And I say 78, 98, 65. I come here. I'm not going to talk about tuple now because I have not done tuple. But again, you can also enclose tuple inside of the list, right? Now, that's a list. Now, every member of this sequence has an index number. Every member of this sequence, are you with me, has what we call index number. And that index number starts counting from 0. Please take note. Every member of that sequence has an index number. That index number starts counting from 0. Am I making sense, guys? I'm going to repeat again. Every member of a sequence in a list has an index number. That index number starts counting from 0. For instance, this is 0. The 24 is 0. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The whole of this list has one count. Are you with me? So if you want to know, if I want to say, I can say print, please note, I'm still going to explain print function to you, but just note, the print function is only used to display values or output to the console in Python, So all the prints that I've been using, I'm using them to display to the console. So that's why I'm using them for now. So if I say print my list, and if I want to reference the index number, look at this. If I want to reference the index number, I say this. I put this in front of my list, and I will put the number. If I say 0, right? So let me give you, so this is to, I'm going to put a comment here. This is to reference the index number of the list. Right. It is to reference the index number of the list. If I run this, right? Oh, so it's running the main, sorry. I will say current file. So if I run this, you see 24 is printed. 24 is printed. If I say print list 6, now look at this. If you start counting from 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But because our counting must start from 0, this is the 6th one. So if I say print list 6, and if I run this, it's going to print this list. I mean, this. Look at this. If you say 7, right, it's going to give us an error. It's going to say index out of range. Can you see? Because it's not, it does not get up to 7, right? But this is actually 7. If you want to know the number of elements, to know the number of elements in a list, right? What you have to do is just to say, you just use what you call len function. Just say len, and you pass inside the function, right? You are going to pass the argument as my list. It's going to print 7 for you. It's going to say, what happened to me? Oh, sorry, because I put 7 here. So if I run this, right, it's going to print this. Let me comment this out, because otherwise, no, I don't need to comment it. Let me just put print in front of this, because that's one of the bad side of Python. If you don't use print and those sequences are not in order, it's going to print the one that as print. So if I say print and I say len my list like this, if I run this, right, you see it gives me this, which is the first one, and then gives me 7. Right. Now, also note this. Let me give you some rules or some ways in which you can work with lists, right? I'm going to put this. Important things, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to say important things, important to note about lists. These are important to note about lists, right? Inside here, list allows duplicates, right? List allows duplicates. Listen to this. List allows duplicate. As in, I can come here and say again, right? And say Coyote. Am I making sense? These two are Coyote. They are different in number, right? So it allows duplicate. So if I run this again, if I say print list 7 now, remember before it wasn't up to 7. If I say print list 7, right, it's going to print that. Can you see? If I say, and as you can see, this has increased to 8 from 7, right? It has increased to 8 from 7. List allows you to substitute. You can replace. List allows members of the sequence to be replaced, right? It allows members of the sequence to be what? To be replaced. So what that means is that I can replace the members of the sequence, right? I can replace the members of the sequence. For instance, you see this Oluwabumi, right? If you count from here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is at the index number 5. If I want to replace it, now look at this. I can come here, right, to say, I'm just going to say my list, and I will say 5. So to replace a member of the list sequence, you just say my list 5 equal whatever you want to replace it with. Let's say you want to replace it with Olalekan, right? If I run this, that has been replaced. If I come here and I say print, right? If I say print my list, right? Watch. You could see that Oluwabumi is no longer there anymore. It has been replaced by Olalekan, right? List is ordered. List is ordered. List is ordered. That is, the order in which you place it is the way it's going to give it to you. Am I making sense? So that is basically what list does. To access a member of the list, to access any member or element of a list, it is done via the index number of that list. What is the index number? What I've been saying: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I want to access the element of that list, I can just say print, for instance, and I will say here, my list. I'll put the element number in square bracket in front of the variable my list. And if I say 5, right? If I say 5, for instance, if I run this, you see it says Olalekan, that is what is at 5. Am I making sense? So that is basically how to access the element of the list, right? So I'm going to come here and I say accessing, to access the element of a list, right? You do this via the index number of the elements in the list, right? And I'm going to say, note that index counting in the list starts from 0. It is very, very important. It's very, very important. And I've told you to replace or change a member, right, or a value in a list. In a list, you do the following, the below, right? That is a list. Now, one quick thing that is common to everything is that to check the type, remember we are talking about data type. We are talking about data type. To check the type of a particular variable, to check the type of a particular variable, to check the type, I'm going to put it in the comments, otherwise I'm going to get an error. So to check the type of a particular variable, right? You just say type in bracket and the name of the variable. Let's say my list. Because I want this to display, I'm just going to say print, right? Type my list, right? Is the last on the list. So if I do this, you see it says class list, right? Or for you to know, print only take string if you are not passing the variable into it. And anything that has to do with string must be inside quotes. So if I say here, and I say the type of the variable, my list, right, is, I'm going to concatenate it. I'm going to explain concatenation to you as we move along. And I say this, right? It's going to tell you, if you run this, see the type of the variable, my list is class list. If you want to check for any variable, it is the same you are going to do. For integer variable, for instance, if I say x equal 56, and I come here to say, I'm just going to copy this, and I say here, print the type of the variable x is, and I just put x here, right? If you run this, it's going to tell you the type of the variable x is class int, as you can see. That's what to do to check the type of any variable. Now, a quick one. Let's move into tuple. So I'm going to copy all this. I'm going to copy all this, right? I'm going to copy all this. I'm going to copy them, and I'm going to create a new file, a new Python file. I'm going to say, okay, let me not create a new file. I'm just going to do it inside here. Okay, I think I'm going to create a new file so that I don't confuse you, right? So what I'm going to do is, I should be able to rename file. Yeah, I want to rename this. So I'm going to rename this to list. Right, just alone. I'm doing everything one after the other because I don't want to get you confused. Right. So we're taking a baby step as we move along. That's why I'm doing everything one after the other. So if I come here and I create a new Python file and I say tuple. Now I'm going to paste everything that I copied there. I just pasting them here, right? And I'm going to change, the only thing that I'm going to change, please watch me very well, watch what I'm doing. Watch what I'm doing. You don't have to type anything for now. Please watch me. I'm going to change this to brackets or parentheses, right? Every form of where I declare list. Okay, that's all. I'm going to change it to parentheses, and I'm going to change list. I'm going to say my tuple, right? I'm going to call this all my list. I know how to do each at once. just to change everything, but I'm doing it one after the other so that you can have an understanding or you don't get confused what I'm doing, right? So I'm just going to say tuple. I'm going to change this to my tuple. I'm going to change this to, I'm just going to copy this, Control C, and everywhere I see my list, I'm going to change it to my tuple so that I don't have an error, right? Everywhere I see my list, I'm going to change it to my tuple, right? Now, I'm going to change this later, but let me see, we're going to get error here. We're going to get error, but what I'm trying to explain to you is that tuple and list are the same thing. Here is the difference between them. Important to note about tuple. Tuple allows duplicate. Tuple is ordered. Tuple does not allow members of the sequence to be replaced. You cannot replace. That's the difference. You cannot replace members of the sequence in a tuple. Are you with me? Tuple is the same thing as list, except that tuple starts and ends with parentheses. Right. Tuple starts and ends with parentheses. Right? Are you following me? Right. For every variable, the same way you check their type, the same way you check their length. Now, tuple is different from list in the sense that tuple is not, tuple allows duplicates. You could see that you can duplicate in it. Tuples does not allow members or elements in the sequence to be replaced. Tuple is also ordered. Tuple starts and ends with parentheses, otherwise known as brackets. Right. That is tuple for you. Right? Now, quick one. I'm going to give us 10 minutes to ask any questions that you do not understand before I move to, or let me move to dictionary quickly, and then I'll give us time to ask any questions that we do not understand before I move to another topic. So let's do what you call dictionary quickly. So I'm going to say dictionary. Dictionary is very, very interesting, right? Dictionary is very, very interesting, and you can use dictionary to do a lot of things, right? So a dictionary is a key value pair. Write that down if you are going to forget. A dictionary is a key value pair. A dictionary is a key, right, value pair. Please take note. A key value pair in the sense that you put them inside curly brace. Dictionary is also enclosed inside a curly brace. Let me give you an example of a key value pair. Let us say you create a variable and you say personal details equal. Once you open a curly brace like this, Python automatically assumes one of two things. Either it is Either it is a set that you want to create, or you want to create a dictionary. Once you start entering value inside, Python will then make assumption, make a final decision that you are actually creating a dictionary or a set. Are you with me? So if I then come here to say personal details, and I say what? Name. That's the key. That's the key of the variable that we are passing there. And I say here, look, I put a colon and I say Olalekan Samuel. Remember, anything that is not number, anything that is not number, anything that is text must be put in Python, must be put in quote, either single quote or double quote. Anything that is not number or that is not a variable that has been declared. Anything that is not number or that is not a variable that has been declared must be put inside quote, either single or double. So I say name equal Olalekan Samuel. What you have on the left-hand side, separated by the colon, is your key. Are you with me? What you have on the left-hand side, separated by colon, is your key. Right? If you want to add more, you can actually add more value into here. So if I say, you have to separate it by comma. So if I say last name, want to put the value, right? You can say someone. Have you someone? Let's say Ogunleye. You want to continue? You have to separate it with comma again. You can say age, colon, 43. I didn't put that in code, remember, because it's number. You can continue to say address is somewhere in South Africa. Don't forget, you are not done and you still want to continue, comma. You then say phone number, comma, say phone number, and then you say phone number. You must assign colon and say, now look at this. Let's say I wanted to say plus 277307869665. I put this in colon, in quote. Why? Because of the plus that is there. It's no longer a number. Are you with me? But you can still represent a number, even a number, as a text. It's up to you how you want to represent your data type. Right? So, if I come here, if I come down, apparently because this is too long, it can confuse you, especially as a newbie in programming, right? I can come here just to separate them at this point, just to make it look clean. I can come down at the end of that and then press enter. Python ignores, oh, sorry. I have to do it from here. Python ignores white case, white space, right? I can do it like that. It's fine. But do not forget to put comma if you are not done. But when you are done, you don't put comma on the last part. If I come here to call personal details and run it, right? It does not run, but it doesn't give us an error. Because of what I said, that's why I'm going to say print. But if it were to be, if I'm using Jupyter, by merely calling personal detail, Jupyter will run it. Those are difference in IDEs. Please take note. So if I run this, you see it's printed. What you need to take note, dictionary items are ordered. Dictionary items they allow duplicate. I mean, does not allow duplicate. Sorry for that. Does not allow duplicate, but it can be changeable. You can change it. So now look at this. If I say personal and I say address, I copy this, just put the same thing there, right? Put the same thing there. It's going to write, it's going to take the same, the last one. It's going to override the top one. Watch. It's only going to print one address in South Africa. If I then run it, you see, address in South Africa, just one. It won't print the two like it did in tuple and list. If I come here, right? If I come here to say Control C, and I copy this, and I do this, paste this there, and I say, look, I'm changing this. Look again, check. Despite the fact that the values here has changed, but the fact that the phone number, the key, has the same value is taking the last one. You could see the last one is taken. This is ignored, right? Because of the key that has the same value. Now, let me change this to phone numbers and rerun it. You see that they are different now. Does that make sense? So that is one thing about dictionary. You can, like as I said, it is ordered. Before Python 3.7, in the event that you may install Python that is less than 3.7, I don't expect you to install Python that is less than 3.7. Dictionary are not ordered. Dictionary are not ordered, right? So in dictionary, you can change the value. How do you change the value of dictionary? Remember, we have, I want to come here, right? And I say personal details. If you want to change, I'm going to make this a comment, and I'll say to change the value of dictionary, of elements, or of keys in the dictionary. This is what you do. You call the personal detail, you open a square bracket, and then you pass the key. Let us say I want to change the address. Remember, the address is only one. Let us say I want to change the address. And here, if I come here to say equal, and I say somewhere in Nigeria, before I say somewhere in South Africa, now I say somewhere in Nigeria. If I print this again, right? If I print this again, the first one will show everything. The second one would have changed the address to somewhere in Nigeria. Look, you can see it's now somewhere in Nigeria because that value has been changed. Right? You can say type, right? Personal details. Say print, type personal details. And for you to know what is going on, I'm just going to put this as a text. And I will say the type of personal details is, and I'm going to concatenate this. And if I run this, what's the error that I'm having? Print. Oh, sorry, I put this type here, Control X. I'm supposed to put it here. I'm supposed to put it here, and I'm supposed to put this here, right? And I'm supposed to delete one of these. That's where the error is coming from. So if I print this again, you could see the type of personal detail is class dict. And you can say len personal details. I keep forgetting I'm supposed to say print len personal details. And so if I print the length of personal details, say is 5. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 5. It is 6 here, right? So it's giving us 5 because the phone number is the same. So it's counting them as 1. The address are the same, is counting them as 1. So here we have 1, 2, 3, right? 4, 5. Does that make sense? That's how we get into that. So dictionary is the value can be changed. It does not allow duplicate. It is ordered, right? It is ordered, right? So that's a dictionary, right? So dictionary, list, tuple, and set, they fall under what we call Python collection. Python collection. Okay, so before we go on break, I'm going to give us some 10 minutes. If anybody has a question, I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself. Shoot first. I'm not going to, the order is not going to be taken. So, as I was saying, concatenation is the process of joining two items together using either comma or addition operator, which is plus. Now, here's the catch. You cannot use, when concatenating, when concatenating, concatenating, right? You cannot use the addition operator, right? Operator to concatenate numbers. Any number, whether integer or float. You cannot use addition operator to concatenate them. It will perform an addition operation for you. Are you with me? You can only use an addition operator to concatenate string. You can only use an addition operator to concatenate. I'm going to bring it down. Right? You can only use an addition operator to concatenate string. You know what string is? Anything in quote. Right? Somebody was asking a question. So this is an example. I mean, this is concatenation. Let me give you an example of concatenation. I can say, now I can say first name equal Olalekan Samuel. By the way, my first name is Olalekan Samuel. That's how I write it. Last name equal, I say Ogunleye, right? I can then say, look at this, print. I'm going to also show you, please watch me very well, right? Watch very well. So I'm going to also show you the difference, the major difference between the plus, using plus and using comma. So I can say print first name. Remember, they are variable. Plus last name. Right? Here. We're interested in the last stuff, right? If I run this, right? Where is that? I'm struggling to see. It's not printing them for me. What's going on? Okay, I'm just going to take it up.
No, this key error one. Line 23.
You were saying something, please say it.
No, line 23.
Yes.
I think that's where the error is.
Where the error?
Yes, the key error.
Oh,
you are
yes.
One instead of the personal details.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't see that because here we are supposed to call, remember, like I said, let's say we say last name. That's why. So I'm getting an error. So when we do that, it's going to print it. Yeah, you see? Now look at this. Inside, look at this first. So I'm going to print another one. I'm going to say print first name. Say first name, comma, and I'm going to say last name, right? I want you to observe something. Observe the difference between the two. Here, I didn't put space between the plus and the first name and the last name. And that is represented exactly here. Right? Here, I also didn't put space between comma, last name, and first name, but comma automatically puts space for me. You could see here. Right? If I want to use plus to concatenate them, I have to do another thing to say plus. I'll have to do this, and I will have to do another plus again to do the concatenation before that space is reflected, right? This does not mean I am good programmatically. Those are some of the things that I'm going to be chipping into for you as well. Some programming style that you have to follow. So this only increases the number of things that I have to type. In those days, as early as 1999, when some of us started writing programs, right? When your code is 10,000 lines of code, people, that guy is good. That guy, but why do I have to do that in this day and age? So you have to find a way of minimizing your code and making your code to be as readable as possible. Nowadays, when your code is smaller and it performs what you want it to perform, right? It's a programming strategy that we call KISS. The same spelling with KISS. Keep it simple and short. So I'd rather go for this. So on many occasions, right, you'll be seeing me when I'm concatenating using this. You should know the reason behind that strategy. Right. So that is concatenation. And you do not use, like I said, you do not use concatenation for, you do not use addition operator for concatenation. You use, you do not use addition operation to concatenate numbers. You can only use it for integer, for string. But like I've shown you, my suggestion, don't even use it at all, even though it's possible. But I'm trying to explain this thing to you holistically so that you know that you can also use addition operator for concatenation, but you do not have to use it. Any other question? Any other question? So quickly, ordered means that the way in which you arrange it when you are defining the variable, the elements in the variable, is the way in which it's going to present it to you. Unordered means Python can decide to present it to you the way it likes. The way it's going to show on my computer might be different from the way it's going to show on your computer when you are running the code. So in case I do set now, don't be surprised. It is because it is unordered. So list is ordered, tuple is ordered, dictionary is ordered, set is not ordered. The items in set cannot be changed. It is unchangeable. It does not allow duplicates. It cannot be indexed. That is why, for me, set is actually useless because you cannot do anything with it. I don't know why you've got to use it. Right? So set it also falls under collection, under Python collection, which are list, tuple, dictionary, and set. But dictionary separates itself, and it falls under, dictionary falls under, again, what we call mapping. And then list, tuple, and set falls under sequence. Right? So let's quickly do an example of set. So if I come here and I say new, and I say Python file, and I say Python set, right? So if I say my set, right, equal my set, equal set is enclosed in curly braces or braces like dictionary. Remember when I was explaining dictionary earlier, I said that once you put curly brace or curly braces, Python automatically says, okay, oh, look at this guy. He wants to work on set, or he wants to create a set, or does he want to create a dictionary? Okay, let me wait for him to enter something again. Whatever he enters now determines whether I'm going to say he's working on set, and I'm going to create a space in the memory to reserve of the, I'm going to reserve a space in the memory of computer for set variable, or I'm going to create a space in the memory of computer for dictionary variable, right? So as you work, Python begins to think. The Python interpreter begins to think what you want to do, right? But the moment you say this, Python, oh, this guy wants to create a list, because only list can do this. But once you do this, Python becomes a little bit confused. I say, okay, oh yeah, he wants to create a set or a dictionary, but let me wait for the next input from him or from her. So if I then say here, and I say Olalekan, right? I say Ademola, I say 1, I say 3, I say Olushola. Aha, he has just created a set variable. So I'm reserving a memory in the computer variable, in the computer memory. I'm reserving a space in the computer memory for set. So if I then say here, and I say print my set, right? And I run this. Look at where Ademola was before. Look at where Ademola was in what it presented to me, right? Do you understand? So it's now presented them according to its own order, which means Ademola starts with A, right? Let me bring Ademola to the front. So here, let me come here and say Bola Tito, and I run this again. Look at what it does again. 1 and 3 are brought to the front. It might not be the same on your computer. That's Python. That's why set is unordered. I cannot change the value or any of the elements, right? I cannot change it. It doesn't have index. So I cannot say here now, print. I cannot say, let me come here. I cannot say print my set, and I'll say here 1, right? That's an error. Set object is not subscriptable. That is, there's no subscript for this. Doesn't have anything. Right? So that's basically what set is. Now, I can come here to say, look at this again. It's still telling me it's not subscriptable. So whatever you put here, you have to display it the way it is. That is why, for instance, when you are performing automation, there's something we call Python automation, right? There are some things you want to change inside Excel. You can, let's say Excel. I don't want to move it. I don't want to say data science and machine learning, for instance. Let's say you have a huge Excel file, like 1 million. Excel can take at least 1,056,000 records. Now, you have a situation inside your Excel file where the date format out of that 1 million records, the date format of about 200,000 are not properly done. How do you do it? Do you want to be changing it one after the other? No, you don't want to do that. It's going to take you years to complete. So you can write an Excel, a Python script to do that for you in one second. So that's why Python, Excel or CSV or all those files that we read in Python are not represented as sets. Right? As a matter of fact, I don't see any usefulness of set. So most times when you do any Python training, most of the trainer are not going to explain what set to you. And again, in set, duplicates are not allowed. So that's why nothing. So if I say 1, comma, and I say, okay, let me just put it here. 3, comma, and I come here to say again, Bola Chito. Right. If I run these are duplicates. These are duplicates. Set will not take them. Watch. Okay, because of this, so I'm just going to take this off because we've already known that. If I run this, you could see 1, 3. Now you see that Bola Tito is now in front. Olalekan is followed. So these are displayed randomly. So if I'm an open source contributor and I want to contribute to Python, I don't see any usefulness for set. I'm going to tell them to remove it.